Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta. Episode 68?
68.
I think it's 68. Is it 68?
Yeah, it's
68.
It is. It's correct.
Wow. That's a lot of, think about that.
That is
68 weeks.
Every
we've
week.
done this thing.
Besides
every week.
A couple vacations. Yeah.
We missed, I think 2. I think we've missed 2. You've been on vacation once?
3. I missed 2. You missed 1.
Okay. That's a lot, man. That's a pretty nice streak we got going. So it's been a good time.
Yeah, we should have saved Quinn 69 for episode 69. Didn't think about
that.
Whoops.
Oh, man. Well, maybe it's not too late. Reach out to him. Say, hey, you want to do like a little,
come back on?
Little 20-minute spot for 69? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so, we got some. I guess let's start. Did we even touch the polls last week
didn't.
when we had Ziggy D on? I think we completely ignored it. So
it's hard sometimes, to just be like, hey, you don't really know the format, but we don't care that you're on right now. Let me just skip your intro.
I think when we have a guest, we should ignore the polls. I think
probably.
We should focus on the guy we got.
Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so the question we asked, and I found this to be super interesting. I haven't looked at the results, but I'm actually pretty excited about this one in particular. So the question asks, build diversity should mainly come from one of these 4 things: a passive skill tree, in-depth gearing, skill selection and modifiers, class/subclass options. Now, obviously, you would want all of the above.
All of them. Yeah, that's where's the all option?
We're saying if you had to focus your game more in depth on one of these and maybe have all of them, but still you have to pick one you really want to invest in. What do you think won, and what do you think? What do you like?
Man, that's such a loaded question because honestly, I like all of them.
Of course, but, yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard. Part of me wants to say in-depth gearing because that makes the chase of loot so rewarding, but that also makes the chase of loot so frustrating if you don't get what you're after.
Sure.
And then, whereas the other options are you see a path, class and subclass options. You have this route to take. Skill selection and modifiers. It's kind of the same, the route to take.
Sure.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say passive skill tree 1.
Okay.
I just think that people are gonna like that. But I would say class subclass is gonna be my pick. But I like all the options, honestly. They're all equal to me, almost.
Okay.
What about you? What do you got?
Yeah. my first glance, I'd say to in-depth gearing because I think of, how much time investment that can really add up to be, and that's really what you want in games like these, big time dumps. But then I think in my head, okay, so you have PoE, which is loot vomit, and you have to make this filter just to sift through all the garbage,
right?
And then I think the passive skill tree.
You have to have loot vomit though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But so. Obviously, 1,000. If say you have 8 things that could roll on one item, it would take so much time to get something that.
Right.
I look at the passive skill tree. I think of PoE, and at first I didn't like it, but I've come to quite like it. I think there's still something to be said about spec trees and stuff. I still feel like people like that, even though it's been a thing for quite some time. And I think WoW Classic has the skill trees too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It has the more traditional,
right?
Skill tree where you branch down.
But Borderlands 3's coming out, that's got skill trees, and
PoE's skill tree, skill sphere, whatever you want to call it, is just so overwhelming. But it doesn't feel like the choices make as much difference though. With WoW, 1 point makes such a huge difference, and I don't feel like it's quite the same in PoE. There are skills that do make a huge difference.
Yeah, it actually is. The more you get into it, and I feel the more that diverse they make the builds, this league in particular, it's been a struggle because it's not only are you say you put a point here, right? You're maybe taking away from a point, you could explore in another direction. So it's it's give and take. So, but yeah, I guess I'll say passive skill tree. I think it's the safest choice. Obviously, we want all, right? But still.
Right.
I'm going to vote.
Let's do it.
In-depth gearing
Okay.
won at 36% of the vote. Skill selection and modifiers got 32% of the vote.
I think that's the Diablo fans coming through with the runes
With the
and stuff,
runes.
rune words and things like that they want back.
I think runes is like...
I think that's my least favorite. Of
Yeah,
the
but
options,
you could
honestly.
also think of that in the sense of like PoE, where you have like all these like materia, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
And you like link them together differently, and they do different things. So, I mean, that's pretty pog sometimes. Passive skill tree was only 17% of the vote, which we don't even have in Diablo 3. And then 15% of the vote did class, subclass options. So your choice was dead last, just so you know.
I mean, it's the best choice, but that's okay.
Sure. And then the poll for next week, heavily ThaPChild influence. I might say.
What?
Did World of Warcraft end your season?
The classics launch timing. End season 18 for you. And I think this applies to a lot, and this could even be like, did it take away your buddies? So now you don't have anybody to play with. So you're not playing, I know for me personally, it impacted my season a lot. And then, honestly, we probably should have added PoE to this too. Yeah.
Sure.
We should have put PoE on that and said, which one of these killed your season? PoE, WoW, both or none, but it's,
I didn't really get to see it because, like, so I did SSF this season, so I didn't really even get to experience, like, did the communities die that day? Like, did
I don't know.
become really hard to get? I don't know.
I was in WoW, or actually, I was doing. We didn't even talk about my background picture. I just slid out of the way so you guys could see it, but it's a screenshot of the login queue.
Taken from your own PC.
This is taken from my own PC. Yeah, I don't know what it says, but it's still a thing, unfortunately.
Still
a thing, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So like,
it's not as bad as it was,
but
it's still there.
Like, how long do you have to wait now?
Like a 4,000 person queue. I think it's somewhere around an hour and a half ish.
You're
peak.
Fucking shitting me.
No, man.
Every day?
Peak, every day. So peak. So there's no queue until about 5 p.m. Central Time. And about 5 p.m. Central, everybody's getting off work and going home. And the queue will start around 5. And I think it peaks out around 7 at, close to an hour and a half to 2 hours. But
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's nuts. And they've offered, like, I was going to get into this later, but they offered free transfers to get off the server to a new server for those people, like, to avoid queues and stuff.
Yeah.
And people are still, it's still a queue, man. Like, they don't want to go. And I don't want to go either, so I don't blame them, but
I wonder if there's anything they can do to, like, allocate more resources.
This nightmare is going to get even worse. So, but we'll get into that. That's
not even. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's not even like the Asmongold server, right? You're on a totally different.
Well, I'm on Stalag, which is one of the 3 biggest servers.
Okay.
So Harad is I think probably the biggest one. And then Faralina is where all the streamers went to, like Asmongold, and then Stalag. Those are the 3 original servers they launched. I think they're pretty close though. I think they're all within ballpark of each other.
Damn.
So, yeah.
That's actually great.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
I can't.
But there are servers that don't have a queue.
Sure.
So, if the problem is that they only dropped the 3 originals. So then I committed to one of those servers,
right? And
I told everybody I was on that server, and then so for the switching point was launch night. Well, I got in launch night. Now everybody else didn't. But I'm like, so I'd have to leave and re-roll on one of these new queues and get in queue again on launch night and basically not even play. And then to spread the word to people, like, hey, we switched to this server, and some people got in and played and leveled. It is a nightmare. There's no way to win.
Sure.
To play with your friends, basically.
That's insane.
But anyway,
I can't even imagine like the psychology of that. Like every night having to wait. I mean, you have that kind of, I wouldn't say luxury because you would like to just get on the game, but like you get home and you like spend some time with your family, so you can just like go.
Yeah.
Click that login real quick and like. by the time you're done, you're probably ready to go. But.
Yeah, and I've been giving people alternate means to like, get their character in queue. Like there are remote desktop applications you can use to connect. Like, so let's say, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but if you are a WoW player and you're struggling with this, then, come stop by and I'll give you guys a way to do it. But you can use a remote software, connect your computer from work, just like, hey, I got to use the restroom real quick. Queue yourself up, and then at least jump in the queue an hour before you're off work or 2 hours, whatever the timing it takes for you to get in queue when you get home or whenever you want to play. So, but that doesn't work for everybody, man. Some people can't do that. They don't have the luxury.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right on.
But it's crazy, man.
But yeah, so before we have some juicy BlizzCon hype stuff to get into in a minute, but before we do that, I wanted to kind of address some crazy toxicity we got on YouTube this week. So not only were people upset about the last podcast because we mostly talked about PoE because we had, as you guys know, we had Ziggy D on last week. He was big, probably one of the biggest PoE streamers. And not only did people attack, the podcast, but they attacked Ziggy D, which is just insanely toxic. Which, I mean, I love that people are so passionate and they feel like they're kind of a part of this thing, but to the point where you feel like you're kind of like an executive producer maybe is just mind blowing to me. So just here's the thing. So every podcast, I know everyone's like, oh, it's a Diablo podcast. I mean, it's not. Technically, it's not. So if Diablo, say, Immortal comes out at this year's BlizzCon, and they're like, we're not doing Diablo 4. The only thing that we could think of that could probably kill Diablo, right? So say Diablo dies, poof, tomorrow. This is still an ARPG podcast. And so, we're going to adapt and we're going to play whatever the best ARPG is because we're both huge ARPG fans. And so...
Yeah. And just gamers in general.
Yeah.
So I love WoW. Fluff doesn't give a rat's ass about WoW. And that's fine. But, I'll talk... Because I know some of my community likes it. Some of his may like it. And then vice versa.
Sure.
So, Fluff likes Apex Legends.
We've talked about that. Right.
It's okay to me. I like it, but it's not my jam, So... It is what it is. We're going to talk about games and stuff. I think it's super disappointing to me that people went after the guest.
Right.
It's dude, he came on the show for free and spent his time for free
talking about ARPGs
and to entertain you guys.
Yeah.
And if you're not entertained, then just skip the episode.
Right.
And I'm not trying to advocate anybody skip our show.
Sure.
But if you're not happy, then just tune into something else. Come back next week.
The two things I will say as well is one, we always talk about Diablo, period. Even when we had Ziggy D on, we're like, hey, what's your experience with Diablo? What do you think about their season themes? Where do you think Diablo went wrong in their history? We talked about a significant amount of Diablo. There's always going to be Diablo content. And typically, we'll try to cover that at the start and then meander into other stuff in case you guys are not interested in anything else. But two, I had a lot of people come in and be like, oh, wow, I played one of the things that Ziggy D talked about last week. And it was actually pretty cool. I'm glad he was on. So it's if it's not for you, like P said, just skip that one. We'll be back next week talking about Diablo. But just don't,
it's disheartening that, that happened. And then, people were like, yo, ThaPChild didn't just sit there and didn't get to say anything. Let him talk, It's listen, I'm not a PoE player. I played a little bit,
sure.
But I'm not an expert like these two are. So I let them talk it out. And, I put in 2 cents when I had to put it in. But it's okay, man. When it's Fluff and I, it's easy dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
When you throw a guest in, it makes it hard not to over talk somebody and cut them off. And you try to be, especially to the guest,
right.
You try to let them
talk the most,
get their time, and that's their shine. But the more people you add, the worse. And then not only that, we have a synergy because we've been doing this for, like we said earlier, 68 weeks.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But it's okay, man. Some guests I'm going to gel with and talk a whole bunch more than Fluff, and some Fluff will, when Quinn comes on, that's Fluff's man crush. I'm going to let him have his moment,
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Suck his virtual dick. So
whoa.
Also, I would encourage people to just tune into a podcast that has more than 3 people on, because that's it gets kind of crazy. And so there's always the person that maybe that episode that just doesn't really get to say a lot or whatever. So
it's like I said, it's nothing. Honestly, I I almost was like, maybe we shouldn't even talk about this because I don't feel like we're defending ourselves. I just think some people don't understand the dynamic and what's going on and those kind of things.
Right.
So
And I
hopefully that
also found
clears
it
it up.
funny. The person's like, Fluff's always pushing his PoE agenda. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, I'm getting like cash from PoE to like try to convert people or something. Like, people don't know.
Yeah,
Like, when I go stream something else that's not Diablo, like, it's not good for me. It's not good for the stream. So I don't want to. There's no agenda to push. It's just like,
Yeah.
I like both games, and I'm weird like that.
Right. Yep. It's okay to like other things.
Yeah.
Man. So,
Anyways.
and I can tell you from a content creator standpoint, like anytime we're not streaming Diablo, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. I won't put words in Fluff's mouth. It's always a decision I have to make. Like, do I want to stream Diablo or do I want to stream this other game that I know is going to be bad for my channel, but I want to play it anyways?
Sure.
You know, so for me, anytime I'm not on Diablo, I'm effectively feel like I'm killing my stream. So
Yeah.
it's just how it is. So I'm not pushing other games ever, usually.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, boom.
BlizzCon. There
The
it is.
BlizzCon art came out for 2019. And so for you guys watching,
What do you see?
Yeah.
Tell me. Describe with your eyes what you see.
So
What do you see first when you look at it?
First, I mean, well, let's like inspect the whole thing, and we'll lead into like what obviously jumps out to us, right? So around the edges, we have. Someone said it's Heroes of the Storm. I didn't know what that was at first. I was like, oh my god, new IP.
What's around that Voltron looking thing?
Voltron looking thing. I guess he's Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, I don't know who he is either.
And then we have obviously Hearthstone in the top right.
Okay.
This I have no fucking clue. Is that StarCraft?
Yeah.
I literally have no idea.
It's got to be, right? I don't know.
Chat, help us out. Maybe someone knows. Bottom, middle, and what some people are saying
Tracer?
is the centerpiece. Some people say is Tracer.
That's what I thought too.
And bottom left we have Sylvanas from the I'm sorry, World of Warcraft. And then in dead center we have what appears to be a barbarian.
Yep.
So when you first tell me your like first impressions when you first saw this thing.
First thing I saw was Tracer, right up front and center.
Okay.
To me, that's the first thing I saw, and then I saw the barb in the back.
Okay.
But I've been kind of saying for a little bit, I think we're going to get Overwatch 2 at some point.
Okay.
I think that could be a huge drop for them. And so potentially Overwatch 2. I don't see how you could expand Overwatch. I don't think it's an expansion worthy game. I think they need to drop a number 2 behind it in order to get sales. Because I think just dropping an expansion is not going to give the revenue or the hype that they need. They need a whole new number.
I feel like in a game like Overwatch, that's such a waste because you spent all this time like balancing all these characters, unless you just literally brought them back as they are in another. I don't know.
Yeah, then you can't do that. Yeah. You couldn't do that. I don't know. See, that's the thing though. Is like, how do you sequel Overwatch?
Right.
I don't think like that's not a game that's designed for it. So if it's Overwatch 2, what is it? What are you gonna do? A PvE game? A Destiny? Like, dude, they just broke ties with Destiny. Destiny's gone. It's got a universe already established with lore already established, characters you love, villains you love to hate. So
yeah, to me it'd be like Overwatch would be an expansion. Like
I don't know.
Where it's not just a character
I definitely
pack.
think that Overwatch is going to get something though.
Yeah.
Like that's dead center to me. So,
and we talked about it before, but like that PvE realm, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they could Destiny it up a little bit
since they lost.
The shooting feels good on the game.
Right. And we talked about how that might be maybe a reason why there was like a divide. Is that Blizzard was like, hey, well, we're going to make a PvP or PvE FPS, and Destiny was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no.
Right.
That's cool. We want to dip out anyways. So, yeah, but the barb's front and center. So, what do you think, man?
So, yeah, when I first saw, my eyes immediately went to the barb. He is not in the front, but he is, I think, the largest. I mean, barbs are large, but he's
taking up a lot
the
of
largest. And the thing that I thought that was the most interesting is like the article that I found this in said, BlizzCon poster, Diablo Immortal Barb, front and center. And like, I don't agree with that at all, because that doesn't look like the Diablo Immortal barb to me at all.
I'm looking that up right now because I think the Diablo Immortal barb was old.
Yeah, he's old. And he had like
I just
face
pulled
paint.
it up. That's not him at all.
Yeah.
He's bald and like, yeah,
Sure.
definitely not him. 100%.
So to me, this says a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
The barb to me looks more
That's not a Diablo 3
updated.
barb
No,
either.
it looks more updated than any barb I think we've seen. Like,
Yep.
much more art has gone into this barb, I feel like. A lot of people are saying it looks like cartoony. I don't know that I agree with that either. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think he looks fine.
Yeah.
I think it looks, like Tracer looks cartoony,
Right. But
He
again,
looks
you could
more-
say, like, okay, Sylvanas is there looking real, but I mean, Sylvanas is like a fucking cartoon because it's World of Warcraft, right?
Right.
In the game. But yeah,
Interesting.
it looks a lot better than Diablo Immortal barb. So
That's definitely not the Diablo Immortal barb. The Diablo Immortal barb was old and bald, so, and had, like you said, the war paint under his eyes and things like that. Yeah, man. I mean, it's got to be D4. Like,
oh boy, here we go.
I'm praying.
Here we go.
It's got to be, man. It's got to be. If it's not,
First podcast after BlizzCon 2019. B's like, oh, there's no Diablo.
I'll be crying. I'm just gonna turn. I'm not even gonna talk the whole podcast. We're just gonna sit in silence for an hour.
Like, P, you there? Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, and the other thing is, and we kind of touched on it a bit, but people are saying it's Tracer is the centerpiece. But I would still argue that the barb is the centerpiece. What do you think? Which one? I know you said Tracer caught your eye first, but like
Tracer
examining
caught
it
my eye.
further, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I want it to be the barb. The barb jumps out to me more.
Maybe that's
because
why.
That's what I want, But we're either going to get Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2. I think we're going to get one of those two games. And I'm hoping it's Diablo 4.
I'm hoping it's both.
Announcement.
Why not?
I mean, I'll take both too.
Sure.
But I still like Overwatch, man. I fire Overwatch up once a week and play for an hour or so.
Right.
And it's just like, it's an amazing game. You can log in and play and log out, and there's no grind, there's no gear, there's skins. You chase skins.
The other
So
thing
it's
that this kind of says is like, so obviously, like, we still hear about Diablo 2 remastered, like we keep hearing that for some reason over and over again. I mean, that could, in all possibility, because it is remastered, so like, the design space is pretty open, so that could also be, because Barb was in Diablo 2.
I don't think so, man. I think Blizzard's good play is Diablo 4. I think that, dude, they got to make up.
But they're remastering games. That's what they're doing every year.
They got to make up face with the community, man. They need D4. They don't need to focus energy. I mean, the remaster of 2, people would like.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
But not as much as 4, I don't feel.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you're right. But people really pog out.
And how long
over
can they
D2.
keep stringing 4 along? They can't. Like, we thought we were getting it last year. We probably thought we were getting it the year before that.
Yeah.
And then this year it's like, it's got to happen. And if it doesn't happen, like Diablo Immortal, I think rests on Diablo 4. You can't drop a D2 remaster and Diablo Immortal. You can only drop D4 and then say, and while you wait, Diablo Immortal is available right now. Boom. And that's it. Just walk off the stage. They're hyped. They show us a Diablo 4 video. Maybe we get some stations set up where we can play a little demo, whatever. The crowd's fucking losing their mind, right? And then at the end, they're like, and Diablo Immortal is available right now on your phones while you wait. Boom, and walk off. And like, and then people don't have.
But you can't just say D4. I still don't think you could do that. You'd have to say
you got to show something. There's got to
Diablo
be a
3
cinematic
sets, or you got to talk about like maybe
I
a
think
Diablo
that's
2
a BlizzCon
remaster
thing too. I think this is. We need that schedule, man. When are they going to give us that BlizzCon schedule, dude?
Right before.
What if they say main stage and they don't even show what it is? What if it's like mystery or something?
Or they could just sell tickets again and put Diablo in that top spot for no reason whatsoever.
Did you know that 2018's BlizzCon was the most sold BlizzCon ever?
Well, wouldn't that be the case like every year?
No, it's not
Really?
actually. I mean, most years it's a steady incline, right? But there's a couple years where the attendance was a little lower than the year before. Like twice, I think it happened. But I mean, it was significantly more. It was like, 2016, there was like 27,000. And then 2017, there was like 30 something, 35,000. And then 2018, it was like 40K plus.
And that's
It
why
was,
it's
it was
like,
smashed,
when
man.
Blizzard's like, oh, we tried to make it pretty clear with the Diablo that pump your brakes, but it's like, man, exactly what you
That
were
was
doing.
after the
You
third sale of
knew,
tickets too, though.
you knew exactly what you're doing. You put that third round on sale, and right before you put the third round on sale, you updated the main stage to be Diablo, and you knew what everyone would expect after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, to me, it's so shady.
I don't know if they leave the main stage a mystery. I think I don't. Man, this BlizzCon is going to be huge. It is, because they can go so wrong or they can go so right.
Okay.
In
that sense.
If they go so wrong again, like, man, I would be glad I don't work in PR for a Blizz. But they could fix a lot of things, man.
Sure.
They could drop WoW expansion bomb. They could drop Overwatch 2 bomb. They could drop Diablo 4 bomb.
Right.
Diablo 3 sets, boom.
The thing that kind of depresses me still is like, so traditionally, so not last year, but the year before that, they announced Classic WoW, right? And then this BlizzCon, there was a demo, and then just now came out, and so like that seems to be the trend.
Mm-hmm.
So they announced Diablo for this year's BlizzCon. Well, next year's BlizzCon, and we might get a demo, and then 8 months later, we'll get like the game, and that just like that depresses me.
Yeah, and I think that's super realistic too.
Yeah.
We're a year and a half away. Easy.
And then it's like, as a Diablo fan and as a ARPG player, what's on the horizon until then? Like, what do we get? What do you have planned for Diablo?
That's kind of the thing. Diablo's in a state now where like every season it holds your interest a little bit less and less and less. Mm-hmm. Because it's just not and I know they're trying. I know they're putting these seasonal themes are better this year than they probably have been, or this season.
Sure.
And the set retooling and the new items and stuff, and it's cool, but it's just like, that's the only thing that you're looking forward to. So when you play that for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's really just that really microscopic change that you're focusing on, and so you're burning that out super fast. And I don't think it matters. Like, they could put some really awesome things in, but the longevity is still a month tops.
Sure.
So
and
I don't know how Diablo 3 could hold up for another year and a half.
Sure. And to me, like, I don't want to be super toxic, but like, it just feels in a sense like superficial. Like, to me, it almost like it doesn't, like, these changes don't feel like there's passion right behind them. It just feels like, well, we want to reestablish the name of Diablo as like a more positive thing in the community, and the best way to do that is just like Borderlands did it, where they're like, let's bring people back to Borderlands right before Borderlands 3 comes out with adding content to Borderlands 2, and it's like
they gave out a free expansion to let people play for Borderlands 3, and it was a bridge gap for the story too. So it's like, if they announced Diablo 4, dude, that would be awesome if they put a little mini expansion in
Diablo 3
to say, or act, a mini act or something. Like, here, we're going to bridge the story gap from 3 to 4, however that plays out. Be so cool. But
the dream.
The dream.
So that gets me. It's like one of the questions I continue to get is like, if it's not Diablo 4, and you had to choose between the Diablo 3 expansion and Diablo 2 remaster, what do you pick?
So you're saying if it's not 4 and I have to pick between Diablo 2 remaster and what was the other choice?
Diablo 3 expansion. Not knowing what the contents of that expansion are going to be. Like, you don't know if it's like adding more stuff.
I'm going to say, honestly, I'm going to say Diablo 2 remaster.
And that's what I was...
Because here's my reason.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and this is super selfish for me personally. I played Diablo 2 back in 2000, whenever it dropped, 2000, 2001, whatever it was, one time, and that's it. So to me, the story would be fresh again. It would be fun again. But I don't know if the end game in there is going to be good enough to keep me held over.
Sure.
Like there are still people that play it today, so clearly it's got some longevity to it.
Right.
But is that going to fit my taste?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason I haven't gone back and replayed it, there are two reasons. One, graphically, it looks super dated,
Yeah.
and I'm superficial. That bothers me.
I'm same way.
So that really does bother me. And then number two is if they're going to do a remaster, I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
Like this experience will be so fresh to me because it's been 20 years since I played it. Like it would be awesome. But the Diablo 3 expansion, my fear with the Diablo 3 expansion is that the end game would be the same.
Yeah.
We're going to run rifts.
Right.
And we're doing that now.
Sure.
So like, cool, we're going to get a campaign that'd be fun for 2 hours to 4 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've done that. Okay, now what? Okay, well maybe we get a new class. Okay, so we get new abilities.
Druid.
But
sure.
the Diablo 3 theme seems to be like put some skills on your bar and you can just pretty much mash all of them on cooldown, right? So we're mashing all of our buttons. So that's not a new play style really. And then we're going to be running rifts.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's like, would it be fun? Sure. But for how long? Diablo 2 has the a bigger gamble at being, exactly.
Sure.
It's got more runway. It's got a better chance of being like, oh, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and so, you know, I'm kind of in the same way. So like my knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, Diablo 3, like because like that's the game that's good. You know, it's just been near and dear. But then I think, you know, about the historical kind of like timeline of what Diablo 3's really gotten, and so, you know, my impression from like a Diablo 3 expansion is, okay, so maybe we get like a druid, maybe we get, you know, like you said, some campaign juice, some new areas, maybe an Act 6, God, I hope not. And that would maybe kind of be it. And that would be fun for, like you said, a few months. But ultimately, you know, we're going to be faced with the same problems. Like bots are all over the leaderboard. The only competitive aspect of Diablo 3 is pretty much like just still in shambles. And Diablo 2, it kind of like the competitive aspect of Diablo 2 is like the ladder and the race, basically. And so you can't really
and then plus
that
if
with
they
botters.
remastered it, they're going to have to recode it, I would assume. So could they put better anti-cheat in it? God, I hope so.
Probably
you know
not.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, it's just got the upside to it. The up potential is just so much higher for D2, I guess.
Yeah, I think that gives us a bigger runway of stuff to do until Diablo 4, and that's why I would make that decision. Not because I don't want the D3, but
I agree 100%, man. But it depends. If they could tell me the content that we're gonna get for D3, and they're like, oh, we got this new in-game activity, and it's gonna be
multiple
blah, 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 and
new in-game activity,
and then I'd be like, oh, D3 all the way.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, but I just don't see how D3 ever breaks out of the Greater Rift cycle. You know, not without taking the huge risk.
Sure. So. Yeah, and then you kind of
So I want to play devil's advocate a little bit. So that's the 2018 poster that you have pulled up now. We just looked at the 2019, but when you look at this 2018 poster, now that we know what we know, you see, like if you look at this, what's the centerpiece to you?
The orc.
The orc, right?
Yeah.
So Warcraft 3 Remastered is what I'm assuming that's supposed to be for.
It could be for classic.
It
it's
makes
like a
me
double
think
down.
World of Warcraft. Yeah. I mean, you had a WoW 8.2 announcement at BlizzCon, which was garbage in my opinion. But 8.2 announcement, then you had the Warcraft Remastered, and then you had WoW Classic. So yeah, I think you're right. That orc kind of hits all three things, and that was a big thing for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
But you had the Diablo creeping in the back, and he's pretty big. Like he's there.
Yeah.
You know?
He's definitely not as prevalent though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had the Overwatch, you know, you had
Overwatch's front and center again.
Front and center. And you know, they got the new character. So
and they get the StarCraft. Does StarCraft even get anything? Like I don't even follow StarCraft.
They did something. Did they do a tournament or something?
I mean, they did a tournament. Did they add content to the game?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't pay attention. I don't really keep up with Hearthstone, StarCraft, or Heroes.
I mean, we know Hearthstone got stuff, right? 100%.
It always does.
Yeah.
It's like just pump out some card numbers.
And Hearthstone, like, although it's small, it's taking. There's a lot of it, right? It's like that whole line,
that whole top back row. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like Diablo's there, and that's clearly the art style for Diablo in Diablo Immortal. It seems like that's like the image that they're going for. So
That's not the Diablo Immortal Diablo, though.
I think it looks like him, don't you think? Isn't that the dude?
Is it?
Let me pull it up.
I'll pull it.
I
'Cause I
thought
got
it
the
was.
screen. Diablo Immortal images. It's this one. No.
Yeah, you're right. That's not. It's different looking.
Yeah. I mean, there's some similarities, but it's
So what? I don't know. So that would make us think that the art style of that barb doesn't matter. Of the 2019 poster.
The other theory that we've kind of been pumping out for a while is that maybe something got pulled.
Something got pulled, right? That was the Diablo 4 or Diablo. I don't know. It's just interesting, man. It's interesting.
I mean, I guess it's pretty similar, just a little different because he's got the giant fucking horns and the 3 spikes,
the eyes, and
I guess it could be.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, building that hype train.
It's definitely the orc was definitely the centerpiece in 2018, and I think that's fitting for what BlizzCon turned out to be that year. So the 2019, you got Tracer and you got Diablo. Those have got to be the 2 centerpieces. So
chat says that's Sarfang. I guess it's a WoW character.
Okay.
So that's to me that's like. Okay, that's World of Warcraft Classic. That's the big thing.
That's lore stuff to me. So is he in Warcraft 3 or in World of Warcraft 8.2? I guess he could be both.
Because they're the same thing, right? The same story and shit, right?
Yeah, but different times, I think. So I don't know.
Good point.
I don't know if he's in it all. I'm not a lore nut. Like, So
where's Nineball when you need him?
Yeah. He's the Diablo guy.
Yeah.
Does he do WoW?
I'm sure he does all Blizzard stuff. I don't know. He's got that knowledge juice.
Got that knowledge. So the lack, we're kind of talking about like the longevity, how can things hold up over time, season 18 kind of getting crushed by Classic and PoE, like, killing the timeline. And then so I go to Reddit, I visit Reddit frequently, and I go to Reddit and you're looking at Reddit, and the big topics on Reddit are Rainbow Sword. Like a guy just got a Rainbow Sword.
Tons of upvotes. Super stoked about
and it's cool. Like, I'm happy that he got a Rainbow Sword, but I just don't like.
You just feel like you're in a Twilight Zone sometimes on Reddit, because there's that post like 3 weeks ago that someone's like, I got a Goblin pack, and it's like,
yeah, it's like, have you played the game?
What are you on about?
And like Rainbow Sword's rare-ish, but
wow.
To me, this is just like people want content for Diablo so
people want
bad.
Cosmetics, obviously.
And you could sell them.
This is one of the few cosmetics, I guess, people can chase.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was your season. To like your seasonal goal every season is like, I'm gonna get butterfly wings. I'm gonna get Rainbow Sword. Like that's your whole goal. You don't even care about leaderboards. You don't care about.
I think they could make so much money on a cosmetic store.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like you don't even have to take things out of the game. Just add new stuff. That's purely cosmetic.
Yeah.
And then you got a transmog system in the game. I just don't understand how it's not a thing.
And you've got a shop built into the game already in China.
Is it like handling the money financially? Is that like a huge undertaking, a huge risk to build the back end?
I would think now you just like throw in Stripe, right? Like
you have a Blizzard store. Like, could you just buy them on the Blizzard store? Like redirect them to the website?
Yeah.
I mean, surely you can get web developers to build a store. I don't. I don't understand how they're not making money on this. Sure. It's like free money. Like, here's my money, please take it.
People get upset when we like push the microtransaction on YouTube, like people freak out, but like we know that games generating revenue keeps games getting content.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And that's why we push for it. Would we like go out and drop tons of money? No, not necessarily, unless they're like really fucking cool, maybe. But Someone's
like,
gonna, you
a
know.
$60 title doesn't support a game for 10 years.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's not
No.
realistic to think that. And so, like, I spent $60. I mean, what did Diablo 3 retail for? $49 probably back in 2012
$49,
or
$59,
11, whenever we pre-ordered it. And then you buy the
ROS,
expansion.
$30.
So that's $40, we'll say.
That was 29.
Even. I don't know. 29, 39, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So $70 in, maybe. And we've been playing the game for, 6, 7 years.
Like $80. Yeah.
Forever. It's like that's not a good investment for Blizzard. It's not. Like, how can they support that?
Yeah. And then people in
they've
chat
done
were like,
an
well, they
awesome
sold
job
a
at
ton of
supporting it.
copies. Yeah. But they're not still earning, like, they got a ton of copies sold, but that doesn't sustain a game.
Yeah. That's upfront cash. They need that steady income.
Yeah.
And so, as a not a free title, but as a one-time paid title, I can't think of another game that's kept the longevity and supported it this long.
StarCraft, I guess, right?
It went free to play. I mean, and they went to a microtransaction model, like buy missions and stuff. Yeah, but it switched. Yeah. But like, let's take a look historically at like games like that you would just straight out buy from the box, like Destiny 1. Okay, I'm gonna say that because I dropped $60 when that came out. They supported the game for 3 years, and then they shelved
Destiny
it.
didn't get expansions?
Yeah, they got expansions.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You pay for the expansions.
Okay.
To make money. That's what I'm saying. But they had a revenue. But even then, still, your $60 purchase is not being supported anymore. They're not updating anything. Division.
Yeah.
Let's just say Division. Again, same thing. They gave you free, maybe some paid expansions, some free expansions, but they're not supporting that game anymore.
Right.
Let's go to some PC titles. Like, what PC titles that you can buy 7 years ago that are still getting content updates?
No idea.
None. I can't think of any that still get any development.
It just makes you wonder, like, did they burn straight through that cash? Or was it because, like, Diablo 3 was so poorly received that it just made them, like, pump the brakes on? I don't understand.
What made them cancel the second expansion is what blows my mind.
Yeah, after
it
ROS
sold
was so well received, like, I don't know.
It's got to be numbers. Like, we don't have access to numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't sell as much as we thought.
Maybe they were expecting it to have, like, Diablo 3 vanilla numbers, and it didn't.
So,
no idea. We'll never know.
Yeah, like, chat's naming off all these games like Warframe. Warframe's a free game that has a microtransaction store. That's not even close to the same comparison. Right. And like GTA 5 has cash cards. Like, GTA has their monetization down so well. That game is the top earning game like every year since it launched. Yeah. Like, they do it so good.
And Warframe's the model we want them to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're advocating for. Free to
I would
play,
be okay with Diablo 4 not being a free-to-play title and having an upfront box cost.
And we know that Blizzard will do that. Like, they've said that.
I'm okay with that. But if they have a store, like, WoW does it really well, I think. Like, WoW has a store that's in the background, and you'll see people with store cosmetics sometimes, but it's not a big deal. The coolest shit is still in the game.
I would say so I played a little WoW in my history. Like, I played a lot of Wrath of the Lich King, and I played like the start of Pandaria, or I don't even know what that thing was called.
Yeah,
and I always felt that like they had the cash stop, but it didn't seem like the velocity of how often they released to the cash shop, like, new things, was very often. And then when you finally got something, it was like super hit or miss whether or not it would be like something you would love. Whereas, like, I'm going to go back to PoE again. Like, they get it stuff pretty quick.
Yeah. I'm saying not the frequency or even the items in the WoW shop. I agree with you there. I don't think they're frequent enough, and I don't think they're good enough, honestly. But let's talk about the prices for a second.
Sure.
The prices that people charge for these cosmetics in game blows my mind. Like, PoE's prices are absolutely insane to me. And it's like, people buy it, so clearly their numbers and their research, they know what they're doing. But I think at first glance, I'm like, dude, I would be so much more likely to buy cosmetics if they were cheaper. And maybe that dummies down the need to want them. I don't understand, man. But like a pair of wings on PoE costing $40.
They can go way more.
Or $60 even, I think. Like some of the expensive ones, $60 for a set of wings, $140.
It's like a big, the top tier, like supporter packs and shit like that.
Yeah, well, like I think just a straight up pair of wings, I think I've seen $40 or $60. I can't remember. But to me, it's like, holy crap, one cosmetic, and it's not even the full set, man. It's just a set of wings. Like, so think about a set of wings in Diablo costing $40. I wouldn't do that personally. I'd be like $40, man. Like that's ludicrous. You know.
What if it was?
But if the wings were $5, I would do it.
What if it was behind like what PoE does? If it was like behind, like, okay, you get these wings, it's a supporter pack. So it's like they're kind of convincing you, like, hey, you spend $40, like not only you get
you're
these
helping
cool
our
wings,
development.
but you're getting juice.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess, you know, the games that I love a lot, like I would buy shit on Diablo 3 just to support the game.
Yeah.
At this point, 100%. Like let's say that they released some wings tomorrow and it was $25. I would buy it even if I was like, meh, I don't like this that much. I would still probably do it. But I don't know, man. Do you think, like, would you be more likely to buy cosmetics at $5 a pop than 40? Would you be more likely to buy, let's say, like, you know, 5 or 6 items at 5 versus the one at 40?
Well, yeah, no doubt. You know,
so don't you think they'd make more money that way?
I don't know. I don't know what the ratio of like people that are just will spend whatever it takes to get rainbow swords versus like people would be like, I don't want a rainbow sword for $40, but if it's like $5, so I wonder. I mean, I'm sure they know better than we could ever know,
right. I mean, like, I'm sure that they understand the marketing and the psychology, and you know, I'm sure they've put the things at different prices, and I think maybe the price makes it prestigious. Like, oh, you have the $60 wings, goddamn baller,
right?
You know what I mean? And
but
maybe
that's
worth something.
That psychology is so weird to me because it's not even like, ooh, damn, you got those wings, like you paid for them. Like, what do you mean? Like, to me, there's no prestige behind like a $60. It's cool, like you look cool, congratulations, but like everyone knows you like just bought that.
You've paid for it.
So
yeah, I think it's different in PoE than a game where you can earn dope loot too, though. Like, yeah. I don't know, man. It's
but to me, like, honestly, you could I would say, like, say in Diablo, if you had alternate spell effects, I'm gonna come back to this time and time again because I think it's the best. If you had like, you know, you can make like Blightspear turn red or some shit, like I would maybe consider $40. I would maybe consider it because I mean, I've obviously dumped a stupid amount of time in Diablo. You know, but making something I like to play
be the
look
prestige
cooler.
factor,
right?
Yeah, because like if you go into a group and you got the red $40 Blightspear, then people are gonna be like, oh shit, that looks sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that looks good. Especially if they like make it a little extra. Yeah, it's not just a red Blightspear, but it's got like you know, it just looks little like super badass. Sure. You're gonna be like, God damn, dude, I want that so bad. You know, you're, after you see it a couple times, eventually you're gonna be like, fuck it, man. Here's my $40.
There's been times where I've like, before I started getting more comfortable with PoE and like making my own builds and stuff, like I would just like, you know, scour the internet, like what's good right now, and I'd see someone playing some build, I'm like, man, that looks like cool. That looks so cool, and you start putting the build together and like, this doesn't look anything like that. This looks stupid. And it's because they had like a cosmetic spell, and then you're like, damn, like I guess maybe I'll like go get it because I want the build to look that cool. Yeah,
I gotta look cool.
Yeah. So there's something to be said.
I mean, I get it. I didn't even play I didn't even play PoE very long. I played like, and I'm gonna go back to it eventually. It's just super crazy game release month right now. But like I played PoE for a couple weeks, and like I went and dropped like $50 on inventory management, like tabs and shit, and it's just like I guess I'm good now. Hopefully for the future, every league they probably put a new tab out for inventory management that I'll need. But
this one they actually added to the already existing tab, which is pretty nice. So it's like cool. If you have that one, now you can get more juice out of it.
But it's like they've already made more money off me in 2 weeks of play than Diablo's made in like.
And it makes you feel kind of sad, too.
And it's like, I don't even have a way to say, like, what am I going to buy an extra copy? I could buy a copy of Diablo and give it away.
Sure.
You know, so.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, I hate to circle back to that, but Diablo 4's monetization, man, that's gonna be so huge to me. Like that's
Right.
the thing I think I'm more interested in than anything. Is like I don't, the character classes and all that stuff that'll be there, But as soon as they announce it, I'm like, how are they gonna support this game going forward?
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna be an MMO subscription based? Is it gonna be free to play with store box set with the store? Like how are they making money on this bad boy?
Sure.
So.
But yeah, in other Diablo news, this popped up on Reddit. I don't follow this at all, but I like to, support developers and cool ideas, and it's in the Diablo universe. Curse of Tristram is entering open beta, which I guess is a Diablo 2 kind of remake. I heard they're adding like a totally new stuff, which I know some people aren't thrilled about because a lot of people just love vanilla. I still don't get it. Like to me, I would much rather have like new content, but like some people are like, no, it's gotta be vanilla, like classic WoW. Right? Like that still blows my mind. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there in case you guys didn't know about it. Curse of Tristram, it's open beta. If you guys want to check it out,
It's rebuilt in the StarCraft engine, from what I understand. I didn't do crazy research on this. I've heard about this for a while. But it's basically Diablo 1 remade in the StarCraft 2 engine using a custom game modifications.
Yep.
And I watched some gameplay footage of it, and it was, it was okay.
Sure.
If it looks better than Diablo 1,
Yeah. See if I can pull it up. But yeah, I guess they've got all of Act 1 in the open beta. They've got 3 difficulties. Nearly all the skill trees is what it says. Different skill synergization.
Ton of effort, man.
Yeah.
The amount
awesome.
of effort that goes into that is insane.
Just to show them off.
Yeah.
So
But here's a druid, I guess. Man, that looks so different from Diablo 2. But the inventory looks the same. That
like
looks super different.
the fact that he made this as a StarCraft mod is just like
Insane.
Yeah, that's so much. I can't even imagine doing a and I guess Blizzard could shut it down too if they wanted to.
If they wanted to, of course.
How much would that suck? As you put 5 years of your life into this, and then they're like, we're gonna remaster D1. So
right, but then at the same time, you look at like great stories. Like so, GGG. There's a guy that made Path of Building, which is like this. Say Diablo fans, right? Like it's this downloadable Diablo fans that you can like make all your builds in. And the guy that did that was like eventually hired to basically support it, which is just insanely cool. So maybe they would do something like that for the guy, but
maybe they'll hook him up, right?
Yeah. But yeah.
Yep. What else we got on there? Let's see.
That's it for Diablo, man.
I closed it. So I guess that's all the Diablo news.
So
We've
if
really
you're
done a lot of Diablo news.
if you're just watching for Diablo, you can skip the episode now. We'll come back to Twitter questions later.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about PoE
Sure.
and then a little bit about WoW Classic, because that's what's been entertaining the two of us lately.
And so I've been playing Blight. I kind of started, to be honest, I started up Blight for the memes because there's been a lot of memeing about tower defense, right? Like being in an ARPG. And so I kind of expected it to be pretty stupid. And it's really not bad. It's pretty interactive. It's hard. Like it's difficult, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
Especially as an SSF player where things are doubly hard.
It looks like you're throwing out a bunch of poison Chinese stars.
Yeah. And so this
That
is the
looks
other
pretty
thing
cool.
that I have to say that's super positive about this league. This is the first build that I've put together in PoE. I think maybe even the first build that probably even exists like this, where it actually feels like a build, right? So before in PoE, you would have like your 6 link that's like your main skill, and then like maybe you set up like a cast 1 damage taken setup, which just like protects you from getting one shot, which doesn't really, it's not like a skill, it doesn't feel like a skill, it's just like a mitigation thing that you do, but it takes up skill slots.
Right.
And then you would have like a totem that you would put down for like bosses, and you'd invest into that. And then like maybe you have some auras and buffs, and like that was it. Like, but this is like, so I threw out all these like shurikens, if you want, poison shurikens kind of thing. They come back to me, they stack on me, and I use my movement skill, and it makes them all shoot out from me. So there's like that interaction, and then there's
Cool.
and then there's this thing that makes me phase, which like makes me like kind of like move through mobs, like boots of illusory boots from Diablo.
Yeah.
It makes me do that. and it applies like a debuff to everything that touches while I move, and it has super interaction because it's a poison like debuff, and so it works really well with those other 2 skills that I just mentioned. And then on top of that, every single time I poison something, I get these like poison stacks on me, and that stacks up to a certain amount, and then I can unleash all that stacked up poison damage in another ability called like Plague Bearer, which is amazing.
Sweet.
So it's like
everything's synergizing together.
And that's like never happened for me, I feel like, in PoE. And so it's been way more engaging, I feel like, than any other league in the past.
But you're still not cycloning the entire screen and off screen.
You can. So they didn't remove Headhunter.
I'm just messing with you.
No, but it's a good topic. It's a good topic because like Headhunter is still in the game. It still seems like the community's pretty split on it. It seems like most of the streamers like Headhunter's fucking dumb. Like, if you want to have it in the game, like, don't be able to do like maybe the new league mechanic with it. Like, leave it in there for just like other content. And then the other people are just like delete it. And I've even said like if I get one in this league, which I probably won't, because it's like an insanely high, like low chance, right? Like you don't just find one. Like that never happens. And it just happened to me last week. I'm just gonna delete it like 100%. Like I don't care what it's worth. I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna fucking delete it because I think it just makes the game so stupid.
You got to sell that bad boy at least.
No, man.
Are you SSF?
Fucking delete it. Yep. Delete. But yeah, it's been all right, man.
So the tower defense is okay. I
thought it was gonna be a meme, and it's not bad.
Like, how does it work exactly?
Sure.
Like, so you're gonna click the tower, and then, is it more like playing a mini game, or does your character still have to do all the damage and kill all the stuff?
It's a bit of both. Like it seems like still the majority of like your success is going to be contingent upon like how much damage you're doing, but the towers definitely help. At first I thought there'd be a little bit more strategy into like tower placement, like like you want to put up like there is some like you want to put like minion towers near things you want to defend, and because they like just stop progress, or like you can stun them with some towers and stuff like that. So there's like a really small amount of strategy to it. But I was like a little underwhelmed by how the strategy works, because it seems like from what I've watched, like the blighted match, which are like the crazy like tower defense situations that you find yourself in, where you have like just towers everywhere. It seems like the goal is just to like literally just put up a tower. Like doesn't matter what it is, just, like put up a fucking tower so you have something to click in the heat of battle. Which is unfortunate because you'd like to see like super strategy involved in something like this, but it's still way better than I expected it to be.
How does it compare to last one?
Okay, so that's a great question as well. So Legion, again, I felt was amazing. Like Legion, the rewards were so good, but it didn't really, other than Timeless Jewels, it didn't really feel like it added a lot of depth to the game. You're just like killing, and it felt like, Breach or Abyss, where it's just like your goal is just to like kill stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit more involved than that, in my opinion. The rewards obviously are not near as good as they were in Legion, and that's a complaint that people have. And that's the thing. It's like, I knew Legion would skew the scale of like how people should expect rewards because it was so good. It's kind of like you give it and take it away kind of thing,
right?
And so I think the rewards are good. It's just I think everyone's so like Legion minded still that like it just feels underwhelming.
And we've talked about, I think that's the problem with every game is like,
sure, you get power,
you have to temper, and as soon as you get something that's like really good, the next thing you put in has to be really good +1, and then the next thing has to be really good +2,
right.
And it just creates this chain of you can't,
yeah.
And I don't know how to get out of that, because as players, we want more power. We want to do the most efficient thing.
Sure.
And so if the newest thing isn't the most efficient thing,
I
don't know. Or you break the old stuff and make it really crappy so the new thing's the best way. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's what developers have been trying to figure out, I guess, since the beginning of time. But.
And it's be like, I feel like it'd be insane that I think, GGD does a decent job of like playing their own game, but there's still like, there's people out there like Cute Dog, and like players have been playing like insane amount of hours since the game's conception, and what they're able to do versus like what a normal player can do, it's just like mind-boggling, right?
Yeah.
So you're always going to have that like things you couldn't have
Yeah.
foreseen. And I'm sure they didn't expect the Legion Wars to be like that insane, but like they became that insane. Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it's like people leveling to 60 and beating Ragan on Nixie in 5 days.
Yeah.
In WoW Classic.
Right.
So to put that into perspective, it took like 150 days the first time the game was out, 180 days or some shit.
You know, while we're into it, why don't you tell us a little bit about the WoWs? How's that?
The WoW
How's
Classic.
that been going?
Oh man, well this is me being toxic, killing lobies probably. So it's been fun, man. It's I think it makes me miss retail a little, and it makes me appreciate Classic a lot. Like there are so many good things in Classic. Nothing is handed to you. Everything is earned. It's a grind. It's crazy. So it's been fun. The queue times destroyed it. They absolutely destroyed it. Night one launch day, everybody. So I would say I lost probably 80% of my community that was going to play with me.
80%? Wow.
Yeah, it feels that way to queues because people are like, you know what, I want to play with you, cool, and then they're like, man, I can't get in your server. It's a queue time every single time I try to log in. I'm just gonna go over here and play with my one buddy who's on this low pop server, And it's like, all right, cool. Well, I lost that guy. And then it's the same thing. It's just so many people were like, I had all of my Classic buddies that I used to play with, the guild I used to play with, were gonna roll on Stalag, and then I think it was day 3. They were like, you know what, man, we're gonna hop to this new server they're putting up. And you're in this position where it's like, well, if I say that I'm going, all of my guys that made characters on this server just threw away 3 days worth of playtime, or maybe they sat in those queues to play with me, and then now I just screwed them over. They could have been playing somewhere else. So it's just a lose-lose situation. Aside of the queue times, though, I would say it's been great, man. It's been a fun experience. It's been what I remember. It's been good.
What does that mean? Can you go in a little bit more depth? Like, so where are you finding that you really enjoy about it?
It definitely has more of a RPG element to it. Like it feels like you're playing a role-playing game. Your stats matter. Your spirit, like everything that you get matters. It's not handed to you. Everything's kind of a struggle. Like you're on a fresh server. You don't have any money. You don't have any gold. You're leveling up, killing bosses. If you pull more than 2 or 3 things, you're dead. There's no just the pace. It's kind of like the pacing. Like retail, you go pull 10 mobs and you're probably fine. You're going to be just fine. On Classic, you pull 2, you're like, oh shit. You pull 3, you're like, oh, I'm probably going to die. And if you get 4, you're dead, guaranteed. Just run and maybe you'll live. So, and leveling, man, like you get a level every 4 hours, every 5 hours, if you have other things that go distract you. Like you can spend an entire evening playing and get 2 levels. And it sounds bad from the outside, but when you're actually playing, it's like, I don't know, man. It makes everything feel rewarding. You got that 40 mount. Like here's an example, is like you spent the entire game running on foot to get to 40. And then when you get to 40, you got to farm up the 80 gold it takes to get the mount, which in itself is a chore. And then once you finally get it and you get that mount, by retail standards, that mount is slow as molasses. Like you're gonna be like, this is a piece of shit. I'm not riding this thing. But in Classic, you appreciated it so much and it felt so fast because you're like, oh, I got my mount, boys. What's up? Look at me. And then people are like, damn, nice mount, dude. It's just like it's just got a different vibe, man. A different feel to it.
Do you think it's got the longevity to stay like as popular as it's been, or?
I mean, no, eventually, because there's no content coming up for it. But so it'll last for maybe a year, maybe 2, but I can't. It's got a timeline. Like, eventually this is what Classic was, and then at the end of that timeline, what are they gonna do? They don't have anything else that they can really do. So I think it opens up a doorway for them to create an alternate universe, though. Like they could say, here's the alternate timeline to Classic. Like we're going to make an expansion that branches off of Classic, and it's different than what we had in BC. So I think that'd be cool. They could alternate cadences. They could say, here's a WoW retail X pack, and then a year and a half later or 2 years later, here's a Classic X pack, and then here's a retail X pack, and they could do this whole thing. Will they? I don't know. Probably not. But
So how long has it been out now? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, I think.
And we're just
Right,
right now we're looking
we're
at
on
Twitch. It's 120K, which is still a lot. Still number one game on Twitch right now. I mean, Shroud's on it, but I'm assuming if Asmongold was on, it'd be like 200K, 250K.
Yeah, I mean, he's pulling 100K by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little longevity. People haven't hit 60 yet. Like I'm 45 right now. I mean, there are people that are definitely 60. Hardcore people that took vacation from work and this kind of stuff that no lifed it. They're 60. But the average Joe that's playing, they're not 60 yet. So I think once people hit 60 and they get a little end game, I think then we'll really see if it can hold up.
Right. Right on.
And then Borderlands 3 drops Friday, man.
Yeah.
So this is a game I was super hype on, and I was gonna get it, man. I was down for some Borderlands 3. But there's just too much stuff coming out now. I think I'm probably gonna hold off, I guess. What are your thoughts? Have you done any research on this? Have you looked into it?
So
Nothing, huh?
I still have never played a single Borderlands. I don't know. I know that it's an FPS PvE. That's literally all I know about it. I know the one thing that I will say, and we've touched on this in the past, is like seemingly Borderlands 2 is the only game that it seems like everyone in my entire community agrees on. Like that's like, we like that game. Which still kind of blows my mind because it's like, if it's this great fucking game, like why is it so dead on Twitch? Like
it's been out for a long time.
I
guess it's kind of like Diablo. It's like Diablo. It's got this cult following people love it, and it's just like they want more for it. I think Borderlands 3 will be huge. I think I don't know longevity wise how they designed the game. I haven't done crazy research into it. I played Borderlands 2. I played through the campaign twice. I think because the way the game works is you level up. And you play the campaign, and then once you beat it, then you turn the difficulty up, and you play through it again with your juiced-up character, kind of like New Game Plus, kind of. And then you keep doing that, and then there's like more difficulties. So I did it like twice, and I think there are people that do it like tons of times, like keep cranking it up. It didn't have that longevity appeal to me, but there's so much content and expansions for it. Like it's got hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay. But the loot's randomized like Diablo, so your gun that you get won't be the same as my gun that I get, even though it might be the same gun. They're different roles and things like that. And the campaign was interesting. It had a cool story. It had tons of pop culture references and just in general. I mean, it was a cool game. It was fun.
Let me ask you this: can you skip cutscenes?
I don't know. Maybe.
You don't know.
I mean, I watched them the first time, so I don't know. I haven't played it in years, so I don't remember it that well.
I mean, I'm gonna.
Is it a fluff style game? I don't know. It's a lot of campaign, So as the campaign hater, I don't know if it would be your style, and there's no PvP to my knowledge, so
that's kind of what I've been hearing.
Your alley,
but like my friends, like my real life friends, have been like, "Oh, you're gonna hate it," but
I'm
gonna give it a shot.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. So me and Lindsay are gonna play it Friday.
Oh, snap!
So
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun for you. This is gonna be great.
But yeah, content. I guess we'll see.
That's cool. That's awesome. So. I'll get your word. This was a 100%. I would have bought this if it released at a different date.
Sure,
guaranteed.
Well, yeah, and it's like for me too. It's like, fuck, man, I want Blight's pretty fun right now.
Yeah,
it's like, ugh. But I feel like my community's gonna be mad if I don't try it, and then I feel like they're gonna be mad at me if I don't like it. So it's like a lose-lose for me. But
I would expect you not to like it, man. I think. I don't think you're gonna like it. I would,
Is this the first episode of Fluff Hates? Is that what?
Yeah, this could be the first episode of Fluff Hates. We'll tune in next week and see. It's just bad timing because WoW Classic is eating up all my time. My goal is to get 60 and get some in game, and then October 1st, Destiny expansion launches, and that's going free to play. And so,
wow,
that's gonna be a huge thing because all these new people. They're going Fortnite model, man. They got a season pass. They got a season pass. They're revamping PvP. Like they're really trying to bring new players in. And the cool thing about that is like you've got a little Destiny experience. You liked it a little bit.
Sure.
But it's gonna go free to play, and like your community could play with you. You'd be like, hey, come check this out.
Sure.
This is dope. You know, and they don't have to invest any money to see if they like the game. And then if you do, you can buy a la carte whatever content you want. It's not even like this thing where it's like, oh, you like it. It's not like a trial. Like it's free to play. And then if you want to do the new raid they put in, you buy the raid. If you want to do the new whatever, you buy that. But they're going to give a little bit of every piece of content free. Sure. And especially a lot of PvP. I think that's their hook is they're going to try to get people playing PvP. Now, the PvP is pretty garbage right now. So unless they really
right now,
I mean, it's there have been moments. Destiny 1 had metas that I actually liked, but Destiny 2 not so much.
That's interesting to think about, like a meta of a PvP shifting.
Yeah,
that's interesting to think about.
Because it's like, in an example would be like in Destiny 1, they had a pulse rifle meta where pulse rifles were overbuffed and super strong, and pulse rifles were something that I enjoyed quite a bit. It was my favorite in Destiny 1, one of my favorite archetypes. And then there were a hand cannon meta that, you know, it's okay too. But then like when they go to a sniper meta, like I'm not a huge sniper, so I don't find that as enjoyable. And plus you're getting one shot from across the map a lot. And it to me, that's not as fun on the receiving side because you're just like, how the fuck, where did he just hit me from? You know? So I can, you know, to me personally, that's not something I enjoyed. But
sure.
So we'll see where this ends up going. And so anyway, that's October 1st. So you got WoW Classic now, and then Destiny October 1st. You got Borderlands right now. There was something else right on the horizon too. So I don't know. But if you tell me you like this and it's baller, then you know maybe that'll influence me to go get it. If you tell me you like it, then I'm gonna be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, this game must be phenomenal if Fluff's liking it.
Yeah.
So
and that'd be me pushing my agenda though. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, you can't like this. Only PoE. Right. Remember? They're paying you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's it. Twitter questions?
That's it, man. You guys, you want to hit us some Twitter questions?
Do it.
The first question we have tonight comes from Big Unit 20. He says, I'd be curious what you guys think about people sharing accounts. Imagine if a group of people could organize 6 to 8 people across the world in time zones to share one account. Each person play 3 or 4 hours a day. They could manage near 24-hour uptime. If people could arrange such a thing, do you think it's cool or would they be filthy cheaters?
It's tough because, you know, Blizzard technically allows that.
I don't know the TOS for Diablo, but I know World of Warcraft allows account sharing in the same family. They specify the same family, specifically if it's a parental guardian allowing their kids to play it.
I'm pretty sure Diablo's the same way. It's like an age maximum.
That being said, I don't know, man. It feels dirty to me.
Yeah,
personally.
It totally feels dirty. But to me, it's like, I would never want to do that because, like, then you're sharing your guy. You know, like all your achievements, you're sharing that with someone else. And then, like, they get to do things on your character that, like, you don't even know about because you're asleep. I mean, like, it seems weird.
I don't know. I think it would be, and me personally, it would be on the long line of cheating, especially if you're hardcore scheduling it to get an advantage, because you know normal people can't do that. So the reason you're doing that is for an advantage. Like if you're coordinating that, you're trying to do it to top leaderboards, and I think that's a roundabout cheating way to do it. If you're sharing an account with your kid or your brother or whatever.
But why would you want to do that? Like you as a dad, right? Like you would never want to be like, well, let's share our character. Like you would want to play with them.
The only reason that I would do that is I wouldn't share a character for one. I'm like, here's yours, don't touch mine. You're gonna screw mine up.
Sure.
But here you do yours. It would just be a money thing. It'd be like, I can't afford to buy you another PC. I can't afford to buy you a second copy. So that would be the only way. And I actually started off my WoW career kind of doing that. So I got World of Warcraft when it came out, and my brother at the time was like 12 or something. He was, super young, and he wanted to play, and I'm like, nah, bro, you're not playing on my account. And then my mom was like, well, I'll pay your subscription if you let him play it. And I was like, this is back when I was in high school and college. I was broke. I'm like, you're going to pay? Yeah, man, I'll share it. So we did that for like 3 weeks. And I'm like, dude, we're fighting over playtime. We're fighting over, like, he didn't play my character. He played his own
character on
but
your account.
I was like, dude, here, nope, just buy your own. We'll figure this out. So I can see why somebody would do it, but it's just, that's not any hardcore sense. It's super casual, just like, money thing. So.
Right.
Keyray says, what do you guys think about viewers providing constructive criticism, suggestions, or feedback on your playstyle or builds? How would you treat an individual if they made it clear they weren't trying to be toxic? Does it make a difference if you think or know how relatively casual a player they are?
Yeah. This is something that happens all the time. Especially with all the guides we pump out for Diablo. Like, someone always comes in, sometimes innocently, like, oh, I've thought of this fluff. Like, maybe you don't know, like this, like, especially when they come in, they're like, Devouring Aura is so much better. That's like, to me, the biggest flag is like, okay, this guy doesn't really know. Like, let's take this opportunity to educate or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, it just depends. Like, so they could be like, Fluff, have you like, we get that a lot. Like, Fluff, have you considered this rune? And I'm like, yeah, I definitely have tried that. Like, the one I picked eventually for the build guide is the best because of this, right? It's the guys that come in and are like, I can't believe you're running that rune, lol. Like, this one's so much, like, those are the guys that I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to tell you why this is the way I picked is better, and I'm going to, like, make you feel like an idiot because you're an asshole. So.
Yeah, it depends to me 100% on the way it's presented, I think.
Right.
And it also depends on what's currently going on in the stream at that moment. So backseat gaming is something that you deal with as a streamer all the time. Like, it's just part of the gig. Like, you're broadcasting your gameplay. People are always going to criticize your gameplay no matter what. And so I think as a streamer, you learn to deal with it and ignore it and stuff. But at times it gets super frustrating, at least to me. And this happened to me recently in WoW Classic, even, where I had people trying to give me, telling me how to play Shadow Priest. And it's like, the advice they were giving was wrong. And I'm like, I got it. Thank you. But after like 10, 15 minutes of it, you're like, dude, just, you want to be nice, but at the same time, you're like, I got it. Like, stop backseat gaming, And I think I said something to that effect. I'm like, the advice you're giving is wrong. I got it. Just, I appreciate the help, but don't backseat game. So I think it depends on how you approach it. If you come in and you say, because a lot of times there are different viewpoints that may be valid, and they may notice or see something that's like, oh shit, I didn't think of that. That's really cool. Let's try it out and see if it works.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate it if it's approached properly. If somebody comes in and they're like, hey, did you think about trying this? Is a lot better than do this, it's better. Do this, it's better is like, F you, I don't even care what you're saying now. But hey, did you think about this? Is like, no, I haven't. Or yes, I have. This is what the results you get from it are.
Right.
You
know, that being said, I've had times in my stream history where, like, someone's been so, like, on the other side of the spectrum of, like, toxic, and, like, we had one guy that was like, you're clearly cheating, and, like, this build doesn't work, and you're doctoring your video footage to make it seem. And so we actually had him on. Like, we chat with him and, like, what are you not understanding? Like, what's going on? What's wrong with your gameplay? !WWTLD if you guys want to see that. But it's insane. But yeah, like, I mean, it's well, you're totally right. Like, it kind of depends on the mood. Like, if someone's just kind of like annoying you, or you're just annoyed that day, like, maybe you're more inclined to be like, all right, guy, like, you're so wrong, and, like, fuck off.
Or if you get like 10 or 50, like, so the backstory for that was, like, I had several people backseat gaming Shadow Priest, like, trying to tell me my rotation and, like, oh, use this, not that. And I'm like, okay, this is why. But after the 5th or 6th person of, like, giving, like, you need a new wand, it resisted your wand. I'm like, dude, the wand has nothing to do with resist and WoW. It's a hit percent.
Sure.
It's either hit or miss. The damage is what the wand affects. And so, so things like that over time, it's like, at first it's like, okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. Here's why. But after so long of it, you're just like, listen, MFer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like you start to lose it. So you have to read the streamer. Like, so if you have constructive criticism or feedback for the build, like, judge what's going on in the stream at that moment and make sure you approach it properly, because if you can see that people are already backseat gaming and they're kind of like, getting annoyed with it, then maybe that's not your time.
Sure.
Like, save that for a second, So.
Yeah.
But Onion says, what item do you want brought over to D4? I think we've had something similar to this in the past.
Yeah.
My answer is nothing. And because I remember giving that answer. I remember saying nothing. I don't want anything, man. If I had to pick an item, though, Rainbow Sword.
Solid.
It gets all the upvotes on Reddit. I need Rainbow Sword.
All you can do is clip yourself with the rainbow sword and you'll be top
No,
streamer.
I don't know. It'd have to be some kind of cool cosmetic or RP item, because hopefully none of the mechanics would fit the new scheme. Like, definitely not COE.
Yeah, bring COE.
Or
I
like,
mean, yeah. If you got a gun point in my head and you're like, bring something over, I'm gonna say Ingiam. But we don't know that even works, right? Like, it's just.
And it's just like, dude, we've already been so reliant on that item for so long. Do you really want that again? Like, absolutely not. That's why something like Rainbow Sword or Hamburger or something stupid.
Sure.
Like, well, that's cosmetic. It's not going to affect gameplay at all.
Yeah.
So who cares?
But to me, it just comes from like a standpoint of, I know one of the things I really like guide myself to in every game is mobility, like 100%. And I know like Ingiam is, a mobility item because it makes your like movement skills go down so fast. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'd have like way cooler stuff. Like, I think World of Warcraft retail, like the Demon Hunter, the mobility in Demon Hunter is like so like good, like, and so they have some really cool ideas, and so hopefully they add some of those to the next Diablo iteration.
It's almost ridiculous. Like, the mobility for Demon Hunter is part of its rotation.
Yeah.
And
it's
it like
part
makes
of the
it
damage
makes
rotation.
it
That's
hard
insane.
to like you have to worry about your positioning, because you're like, I'm gonna charge through
That's
this
amazing
dude.
though. That's so
And
amazing.
like, if there's a fire pit behind him, I'm dead. So I have to back up, and then like it adds this extra layer of like, okay, this is fighting mechanics that really maybe weren't even intentional, but they're there now.
Right.
So but I'm with you. I'm with you.
But it also made every character unplayable. Like, I could never play like a Death Knight again because it's just like,
because they're so slow.
Yeah.
You got to pick your pick your poison. Death Knight, like, bring you to me, and Demon Hunter's like, I'm gonna go to you. So, Fear the Deer says, if you could have one Diablo related announcement for BlizzCon 2019 that is not Diablo 4, what would it be and why?
We kind of touched on this a little earlier. A little.
It's got to be the D2 remaster.
D2 remaster versus D3 expansion. Like, yeah, I mean,
maybe we're gonna get the Netflix
but this
announcement.
is like
maybe that's what that barb's from.
This is pretty open ended though. Like, so if we're not getting D4, like, what is some crazy outlandish thing that you could think of that we could get for
Mega
BlizzCon?
Diablo 3 expansion? I mean,
yeah. I mean, they couldn't call it Mega because PoE stole that. So it'd be like what? Ultra? Turbo?
Super Ultra?
Super Ultra Omega.
What are they? What's the
I don't know.
DBZ
What's
stuff?
bigger than Mega?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, so everything's like HD now, right? That's like the new marketing thing, HD. So it's like the
Diablo 3 HD.
the Diablo 3 HD or Ultra. Ultra HD remaster mega expansion.
What if like the okay, let me ask you this. So D2 remastered or Diablo 3 expansion entitled Death of the Bots.
DOB?
Death of the Bots.
Death of
That's all you know about it though, right? It's just called Death of the Bots.
For 2 weeks? The 2-week expansion? I don't know. D2, man.
Still?
Yeah. Still D2.
Because you think that even if it was called Death of the Bots, they wouldn't be able to stop them. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think the game engine can support it. I don't think they have the tools built in the game to detect.
Okay, well, let's go even further. Total hypothetical. Death of the Bots. And we know it's like 100%.
It's legit.
They've ended botting.
Instant ban on site. Boom. Done. With no appeal process.
Right. Versus D2 remaster.
Death of the Bots, man. And here's why. Because I want to see how many of those people on my friends list that are like, nah, I don't bot, bro. They're
Just
like
for that.
4,000 Paragon every season. They're going to be like, oh, man, I got a busy season this season. I can't play like I have the last 14. All of a sudden, I have a real job. I think it would be hysterical to see like my friends list after that, or just like the leaderboards and just things.
Yeah, all those players that
I'll
think
say
they're
that.
good, right? Like, I would love that aspect of it. Like, oh, you're not rank 1, you're not even top 50 anymore. Weird.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah.
Not leaderboard? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would go Death of the Bot. DOB. D3
Death of the Boss, DOB.
Yeah.
D3 DOB.
Yep.
Let's see. The next one. Homer J. Nick says, what would you like the season 19 theme to be? That's a hard question.
Super open-ended as well.
Yeah, because you gotta have that idea that they haven't put in the game. I think the circles we got this season was a step in the right direction. The triune circles. I think they need to take that like times 100 though somehow. I think at this point balance seems ridiculously out of whack. I think people are smashing the top tier greater rifts in minutes. It's okay to just go crazy with the seasonal theme, and it might even be okay to nerf things and then go crazy with the seasonal theme to make up that power back. But I don't know. I don't know how they do it. You know.
Yeah. So, like, say it's open-ended. I'm going to say, like, take the best league from PoE, steal it, put it in Diablo, and then on top of that, have leaderboards around it. Like, that would be that would be fucking juicy.
So, riffs and riffs?
No, like, I don't know, like, you could take Delve, kind of, in a way, and bring it to Diablo, and there's, kind of a leaderboard for delving as well. So you could do the same. I mean, it would be definitely catered towards bots again. But yeah. But, honestly, something that's been suggested. Do you remember this? So SVR was on. Do you remember what he suggested for seasonal theme?
Did he say like no PTR? I remember we talked about no PTR testing and what was it? No power? I don't remember. Oh, every legendary is randomized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like all the shit that like Circle of Naluge Evil is now on like COE, right? Like or not even that specific. Say Circle of Naluge Evil.
I like
on
that a
Boots
lot.
or something, right?
I think it'd be cooler if you even took that up another step and made it to where every person's loot was randomized. And I know that's impossible.
Oh shit. So like,
but like let's say
at the moment that it
circle,
drops, it's randomized. So it's like
So like my character has a loot table for me, and yours has one for you. So your circle might be different than my circle. My COE is going to be different than your COE. So it's not like I could even go and say like, okay, what's fluff? What's the shit? What do I need? And you're like, okay, well this season you need illusionary boots and you need a Crisbin sentence and like whatever, right? I'd have to be like, well, I don't have any idea what has the mages last for 2 more seconds or 4 more seconds or whatever. I don't know what ring that's on. I got to figure it out myself. I got to go find one. And then I know, okay, so for me, it's going to be Justice Lantern this season. That's my ring.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so there's
That'd be brutal.
2 things that I don't like that. Because so
They
one
could never do that.
is there'd be like seeds involved with that. Like there'd be a finite number. Like, so everyone just be assigned like a random seed, like 1 through 100 or something. And then like the people that got seed 34 are going to be the people that can push leaderboards the best. So I don't like that idea. You know what I mean? Like, because
Well, everybody would get it. Like the drop chance wouldn't change. Why do you think the seed?
But you're saying like, so say your seed dictates like what legendary effect drops on what, right?
Yeah.
And so like, say your particular seed says you get like COE on a belt, and like that particular setup.
Oh, you're saying to switch
that's
like,
what,
okay.
Yeah.
So my effects would be like, it's just randomized. So like a ring property is still on a ring. A neck is still on a neck. Boots are still on a boots, but it's random as to which one. You're saying like throw it out the window and you're putting COE on like a chess piece or, okay. All right. I like that too. Yeah, but not randomized.
Sure.
I'm with you.
And I think that they could even like take it further where it's not like set in stone, like COE is now on like Aquila Curious or something like that. If they didn't, like if it was dictated at the moment that it dropped, so like all season you'd be
all
like grinding.
Legendary fixes are in a pool as a stat. Right. Yeah. So you, man, dude, you could get like an Aquila with,
right.
Yeah. It could be insane.
Right.
You could have like a Cinder Coat Aquila.
Sure.
And what if there was that one legendary out there that can get 2 affixes on it?
Oh shit!
You get like, I don't know, something.
You know, one of the things that like was brought to is an item that's existed in PoE, and I don't think they plan to revisit it. But one of the things I thought was cool is like it was a ring that you could put a jewel, like a gem into, like a skill gem, right? And you know how you level gems from like 1 to 20, and it takes a long time. It takes a long time. And it would, as soon as you got that gem to 20, it would eat the gem and like get its effect. And then you would like put another gem in it. And then like you'd have to like continue it. So like a gear having like a grind to it. So not only do you find the gear after like playing the game and grinding the game, but like the gear socket itself like is like customizable and like gets better the more time you
That's a cool system. And Destiny 1 had something similar to that. When you got a weapon, it came as a base weapon, and then your weapon had perks on it. And in order to open the perks up, you had to invest light into it, and it was a currency that you had to get and then spend it. And it was super expensive to level a weapon up to the point where I don't know if it was too much, but a lot of times I would be like, man, I don't know if this is a good weapon. I like it, but I'm scared to invest my currency in it. Let me Google and see what other people are saying about this thing. But it definitely made getting that awesome weapon like more rewarding. It felt like your weapon that was my favorite weapon, it was a pulse rifle from the raid, from King's Fall raid. And I can't remember the name of it top of my head, but that was like my go-to weapon. When I got it, and I finally, it was random rolled for one. So I had to get 2 or 3 of them to get the roll I wanted.
Right.
Then when I got the roll I wanted, I had to level it up. And so that was my gun, man. Like when I had that forever in Destiny, I was proud of that,
But that's kind of cool in of itself.
It could be the same.
Right? So you could so it'd have to be finite because we don't want it to be like Paragon. But like what you said. So say you find this like gun and you're like, well, this is good. And you start investing in it, and you find a gun that had like better initial stats and you're like, fuck. Like, like that'd be great. Right? Like that's
you're like
more,
son of a bitch. You're happy but pissed at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you got your ancient weapon now and you've augmented it with like a 120 gem, and then that primal drops. Right. And it's like such a minute upgrade, but you're like, well,
but it'd be like way like more in depth, like just
but I definitely think that leveling equipment up has value.
Sure.
And this isn't something I think that fits,
time dumps have value. Like
this doesn't fit in Diablo 3, but Diablo 4 needs to have
something.
A way to continuously upgrade, not infinite, like you said. We don't need another Paragon issue on our hands, but you definitely need to have some dumps into your armor and equipment.
Sure,
you know what I mean.
Right.
So, and for the love of God, I'm going on a tangent here. I think that ancient and primal ancient, like that's the worst system
really
ever.
Is. Yeah.
Like, please no. Like, please no.
It's fake like PoE has something I discovered it's kind of the same. Like they have currency shards. It's like you'll get shards to get like a piece of currency. And I that's the same thing to me. It's like it's fake content. Like it's I hate it. I hate it so much.
I don't like it either. WoW even added it with Warforged and Titanforged.
Mythics
and I'm just like,
no,
like don't do it. So I don't know. I hope that's not a thing.
Yeah,
Eventually.
Please, no.
The next question, let's see. Demonic Grizz says, if they turn D4 into a pure MMO like Warcraft, will you play it and stream it?
Is that even a question for you? Of course you would. You love the world of
He said,
Warcraft.
at Lord Fluffy. I forgot to. Forgot. Sorry.
You know, I don't talk about this a lot because I'm so humble. Like, a lot of people don't know I was a professional Halo player, and I was also the main tank of the #1 guild in EverQuest 2 for quite some time. So I have a ton of MMO experience. I don't know that the MMO necessarily like keeps. I mean, obviously, I'm proven wrong by Classic WoW being so popular right now, but I just don't feel like it kind of adapts with the times. I don't know. I would play it for sure.
Yeah.
But
Of course. Diablo 4 could be a complete bomb, and I'd play it and stream it at least for a couple days or a couple weeks. It could be probably one of the worst games. And just my love for the franchise, I'm going to give it a fair, ridiculously awesome shot, But, yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Easy.
That's it.
Easy.
That's all the questions we have this week. If you guys want to submit questions for the podcast, you can do them in our Discord channels, or you can tweet us at ThaPChild or at Lord__Fluffy.
Yep. Easy peasy. And you just
So
promote
you guys
us.
want to catch more of me?
We don't have to do it. You just promote us without
I know.
knowing it. So we don't
At
have to say the thing.
Lord__Fluffy,
Yeah.
at ThaPChild. Follow
Easy.
us on Twitter. Do it right now.
Yeah, do it. Seriously. It's so hard to farm.
We're getting like, listen, guys, like 3,000 or 4,000 of you watching this video right now.
Right. Follow.
Why do we not have 3,000 or 4,000 Twitter followers right now?
I don't understand Twitter because I've had, I don't know if someone like just like botted me, but I had like 3,800 at one point, and now I'm like 1,000, and I've had like go back up to 2K, and then it drops. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird. Such a weird platform.
It's so hard to farm. So hard to farm.
Yep. All right,
But
guys. I'll catch you next week for episode 69.
69. Peace out, dudes.